When a Virgo locks in with someone, think about Beyonce and Jay-Z. That man cheated on her. She wrote and released an album about it. And they are still married. The purpose of being here on this show is not for us to marry the first person that we meet. If that was the purpose of the show, it would have been Married at First Sight. All Virgo, which to me, that's a sign of the Antichrist. Keep that away from Taylor's funny because he is, if one of those noodles that like waves outside of a car shop made a wish to become a human being. Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nada and this is a little corner of the internet where I talk about whatever I want. Like everyone else on the internet, I watched Love Island USA season 6 last year and I was gagged. I was gooped. I loved the girls on that season and I am having an amazing time watching this season of Love Island, even though some of the people on it are a little annoying. So I wanted to do this little like get ready with me video. I'm gonna film another video about Love Island. I just wanted to get ready for that video in this video, doing my own little version of like a Love Island bombshell makeup while also discussing my opinions on this season. Now I'm gonna put my own little twist on this because I see a lot of people talking about it and I'm always trying to like find a way to make things my own. So I'm going to be talking about this through the lens of the astrological signs and like placements of all of the people on the cast. Now, trigger warning if you don't like astrology, this one's probably not going to be for you, but I would say stay and keep an open mind because I might just say something that you still find funny, even if you're like, I hate astrology, how dare you. And if you've never seen Love Island, but you're interested in astrology and the dynamics of like signs and how they work together, that's basically what this whole video is going to be about. This is going to be a great one for you to do your laundry to, clean your kitchen, whatever chores you have to do, get to work now because I'm going to be out. Shout out to Astrology Island on Instagram. I'm going to put a picture of their profile and link them down below because they are the ones who have gathered together all of this information. If you like astrology, that I like literally check it every time somebody new goes into the house. So if you like astrology, you should definitely go down and follow them. I'm using their calculations for like what everybody's sign is, and then I'm going to like make my own commentary about what I think about it. There are currently 16 people who have either been in or passed through the house at this point. Like I said, I'm gonna be yapping. This one's gonna be a long one. If you like me or my face or anything that I have to say today, please consider subscribing to my channel. I am hoping to get to 10,000 subscribers very, very soon. I'm on the brink. I have 8,000. I just hit 8,000. And thank you so much to every single person who's watching this right now who is subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate that. I make videos about whatever I want to talk about. So usually it's pop culture topics like books, movies, TV shows, and sometimes it's videos mixing astrology and reality television, just like I am today. Without further ado, I'm gonna get right into it and start putting some makeup on this face. Okay, even though I'm like 99% sure Love Island would never cast me because you can pry my glasses out of my cold hands, I'm still going to do my makeup today as though I'm giving like Love Island bombshell, just because I think that's so fun. And I also love the bombshells and I think they're so cute. And they kind of get like a shit job on the show. Like they're supposed to come in and steal someone's man, and then everybody will either like get mad at them or be happy that they're there if they take someone who nobody's really all that interested in. So like I fuck with the bombshells. So the first person we're going to talk about today is Miss Huda Mustafa. Baby girl, come to the front of the class and please sit down. Mama is exhausting, guys. She is exhausting. Like, if you've been watching, you know exactly what I mean. If you haven't, let me give you a taste of what she's been doing so far, okay? So she has been in a couple with one person since she came into the show, and she has been so like my man, my man, my man with him that it is like it's getting on literally everyone's nerves. It's getting on the host's nerves, it's getting on the contestants' nerves, it's getting on the female contestants' nerves, it's getting on the audience's nerves. She is being fucking annoying, and I feel bad. Like one of my friends had said she feels really bad because she's like, she's gonna see how people are talking about her online when she gets out and probably crash the fuck out. And I'm like, yeah, she probably is, but also she's behaving so weirdly. So her and this guy Jeremiah have been coupled up together, like I said, since they came into the villa, and anytime anybody else comes in, like I said earlier, like bombshells are supposed to come in and like entice the men away from their couples. And anytime a bombshell comes in, she gets just like so protective and super territorial. And everyone has been watching and been like, what the fuck is going on? Neither of them have explored any other connections. That's a thing that like comes up a lot in the shows, like exploring connections. Neither of them have explored any other connections. I think because she's so territorial. Like I think Jeremiah would be open to exploring other girls and getting to know other girls, but like Huda would not let it happen at all. Like she would not be okay with him. She's not okay with him being pulled by other people for chats to like talk about whether he's open for exploring. She's not okay with him. Like she's not okay with him doing anything. And why is that? Because she's a Virgo. I am famously a Virgo's worst enemy. Okay. And I say famously because I talk about it all the time across all of my social media, IRL. Like, I hate Virgos. And I am allowed to say that because two of my siblings are Virgos. I dated a Virgo. I've been friends with Virgos. They always f me over. I have yet to encounter, I know one Virgo, I think. One August Virgo in particular that I can think of who has not fucked me over. Hi, Emily, if you're watching. I love you, girl. Like, she's literally the only one out of years. And mind you, Virgos are the most populous zodiac sign because everybody be fucking around Christmas, I guess. So she's like, that's one person. And it's a white woman. Would you believe it? It's a white woman who's a Virgo who I fuck with. That's crazy. So, like, genuinely, probably I could say, like, honestly, my most traumatizing relationship was with a Virgo. Like, and I'm not using that term lightly. Like, there is mental damage that that person did to me that I will never recover from. I'm not joking. Ways that they like manipulated me and gaslit me and like confused me and just like lied to me for multiple years in a relationship, like for multiple years. Shit that I would never in my life. I will leave you alone before I would ever do or say some of the things that they did and said to me in a relationship. Meanwhile, the whole time they're begging me not to leave. I fucking hate you. Don't leave me. I'm not attracted to you. Don't leave me. I want to see other people. Don't leave me. I'm not going to tell those other people that I'm in a relationship fully engaged because I think that they're not going to want to be with me if I tell them that. Don't leave me. This person was wild. So obviously, I am biased. Absolutely the fuck biased. But anytime, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie because as soon as I saw Huda's sign, not I didn't even see her sign and judge her. The first time she came on camera, I was like, her energy's a little bit off, but let me give her the benefit of the doubt because she was doing this thing that non-black women do all the time to black women where they kind of just like go super over the top telling them how beautiful they are and like how gorgeous they are and just like, oh my god, you're so amazing. And I think it's like overcompensation because they know the way that like the world constantly tells us that we're ugly, and she's trying to like be supportive and be an ally and be like not like those other girls. But it came across kind of like performative, if I'm being 100% honest. Like it came across not super, not that it wasn't genuine. Like I think she was like genuinely complimenting the two other girls that she came into the villa with, Shelly and Alandria. But like it felt obligatory in a way, I guess is what I could say. So from the moment she came on screen, I was kind of like, let me see what's going on with this one. And then we found out her zodiac sign. She's a Virgo. I said, oh, she's going to be trouble. But let me keep an open mind because that's the one thing about me. I'm always going to keep an open mind. I'm not going to judge someone off rip, particularly somebody who I don't know who's on an edited reality TV show. Like, of course, everything that they're showing us is one lens of what's going on in actuality, right? And she also has like the most followers out of anybody on the show. So she's got like a lot of people on her side. Like she came on initially and there were a lot of people online already who were like super rooting for her. And I think that plays into some of the like troublesome criticism that she gets. But the one thing to really know about Huda is that she's a mom. She had a baby when she was 19 And she says in her initial like coming on the show that she's not going to tell people it. She tells all the girls, but she's like, I'm not going to tell the men until I feel really like comfortable with them. So she's all right, which is like kind of like what I said about my ex, who was like, I want to see other people, let's open up the relationship. And I was like, okay, are you going to tell them that we're fully engaged? And they were like, no, I'm not going to tell them that because then they won't want to date me. Well, that's critical information for them to have so that they can make an informed choice. But you are just going to keep that away from them. Oh, okay. Weirdo. At least for Huda, I understand her reasoning for wanting to keep like her daughter private, because especially like that's another human being that's being involved, like her child is involved in it. But at the same time, it's like I do feel like people deserve to have as much information as they possibly can so they can make an informed choice, but that's neither here nor there. Huda is a Virgo sun, Virgo or Libra moon, Virgo Mercury, Virgo or Libra Venus, and I think Leo Mars. Yeah, so from getting into the house, Huda is like very into Jeremiah, clearly. She's very territorial with him. She's like, they couple up at the end of the first day, and she is like, I love him. Like, this is my man, my man, my man, which is very Virgo. They commit very quickly and then they test until the person gets tired of them and either lashes out and then they act like big babies, or leaves them and then they act like big babies because they're like, everybody always leaves me, or passes all the tests and they start to get more and more disgusted with the person as they pass the test. Like, the problem that I have with Virgos, the thing with them is that they'll really like pick someone and fixate on that person and idealize that person and then like create an obstacle course for that person to battle their way through to kind of prove themselves to the Virgo. So when that person inevitably fails, because nobody can be perfect at all times, that is used as justification for like why nobody can ever be trusted or whatever. But it's also like something that they will hold over you for the rest of the relationship, because they're not going to do what other signs do when they test people. Like, other signs are testing people looking for an excuse to get out of the relationship. No, they're testing you looking for reasons to criticize you. And then once they have the reason, they're going to lord it over your head for the rest of the relationship and like slowly build up more and more reasons to criticize you. When a Virgo locks in with someone, think about Beyonce and Jay-Z. That man cheated on her. She wrote and released an album about it. And they are still married. She locked in with him. And once she locked in with him, there was nothing that was ever going to take her away from him. That's the way Virgos operate. They pick a person who is their person. They 100% lock in with that person. And like I said, they'll test you, they'll criticize you, they'll get mad at you, they'll yell at you, but they're never leaving. Not voluntarily, at least. That ex I was talking about, I had to break up with them. Genuinely, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So that's absolutely what Huda is doing with Jeremiah throughout the show. I guess this is kind of like a way to help you understand her and like why she is behaving the way that she's behaving. It's because she's a fucking Virgo. She is absolutely obsessed with him. He's not a person to her. And I think another important aspect of Huda and Jeremiah is that, like, this to me is less a Virgo thing and more like a Gen Z thing in general. We know all the buzzwords, we understand the like issues that are very like zeitgeisty, you know? Like, she knows enough to know to like kind of over compliment Alandria and Shelly. You know, we're very socially aware in general, but that doesn't always like spread out to actual beliefs and self-reflection. You think about people who are really good at therapy speak, but they are terrorists, like mentally and emotionally. People talking about being empaths, but they've never felt a thing for anybody but themselves in their entire life. Like, we know lingo, but we don't necessarily internalize it. So I think Huda knows many things. She knows that being a girl's girl is really popular now, and she also knows that she shouldn't be ashamed just because she's a mom. I don't think she's internalized either of those things. So she's like calling people all types of bitches and hoes, crying when Alandria like very politely and very kindly tells her to stop like making a big deal of something, and just generally like hating anyone who comes on the beach who seems to be threatening her relationship with Jeremiah, which is not very girl behavior. But then she's the one who's always talking about how they're a sisterhood and the two of them, like all the girls on the beach, are sisters. Instead of accepting what I think is pretty evident to everyone watching the show, which is that she internalizes a lot of shame about having a baby so young, having a baby and no longer being with the father. Who, I think she was raised Muslim, so like who knows all the stuff that like her Islamic background might have like drilled into her brain. I know she's Arab, so like her Arab background, like growing up in a conservative background and all of that stuff, and then also the like double thing of like the world hates single mothers, the world hates baby moms. So like there's a lot of shame that probably comes along with her being a single mother and a baby mom. Instead of accepting it and working through it, she is trying to pretend that it doesn't exist. And what the result is that it's very clear to everyone watching the show that like her child is an insecurity, and it might also be a reason that she's like claws in with Jeremiah, because she's like, I could see this man being a partner for me and like a father for my daughter, and I wouldn't have to do it alone anymore. And also just like the fact that she's keeping it from people, I think is part of the shame too. So we're gonna move on from Huda and her signs and go to Jeremiah, who is the guy who is her like partner for basically this entire show. Mind you, we're in I think week 2 of the show. Like it's the second, there's been one full week of this show airing, and she's already crashing out every time he talks to another girl. So Jeremiah, and I also am like super parasocialing with their relationship because she's a Virgo and Jeremiah is a Taurus, and my ex who I was talking about is a Virgo and I'm a Taurus, and so I'm like, Sally, you in danger, girl. Like, you better get the fuck out away from her before she ruins your life. So Jeremiah is a Taurus Sun, Taurus or Gemini Moon, Taurus Mercury, Taurus Venus, and a Gemini Mars. One thing about a Taurus, and I'm not saying he's perfect either, like he's also fucking annoying. One of the first things that he says when he comes on the beach, like Ace, who's another guy on the show, is asking him his type, and he's like, what's your type? And he's like, I like Spanish, like foreign looking girls. He's the only one this season so far who has mentioned winning, and everyone's like, oh, so that's why you're on the show, like you are, and that's why you're allowing Huda to talk to you crazy and like not allow you to explore other connections, is because you want to win, like you're here to win basically. And that's kind of like gauche. You're not supposed to say on these types of reality shows that like your aim here is winning. So I'm not by any stretch of anybody's imagination trying to convey Jeremiah as a perfect person or even a good person. But what I'm saying is that whenever they are on screen together, I see myself 5 years ago and I wish I could go back in time and say, run away from that motherfucker. Like, really, truly, I really wish. And part of it is because, like, a Taurus dating, the one way to immediately ruin the vibe for me is to stress me out. And people don't seem to realize that. Like, people don't understand. And when I say stress me out, like, I don't think normal things like having a problem or like being sad or going through a negative situation are stressful, or you specifically trying to stress me out. That's not what I see it as. What I see it as is you're picking a fight over something that does not actually matter in the long run. That's going to stress me out. I do something that is objectively not weird. And then you get mad at me. That's going to stress me out. I had an ex who got mad at me, like to the point of sending me screaming voice notes because I was on FaceTime with one of my friends who I hadn't talked to in a long time, and I didn't hang up the FaceTime to pick up the phone call with them while they were like doing something that stressed them out. Like, that's stressful. That's going to stress me out. You're mad at me, We don't even have to get into the dynamics of all of that and everything that's wrong with that. So that's like, it's causing unnecessary problems is what I mean when I say don't stress me out. And everybody's definition of unnecessary problems is different, especially like when you have an avoidant attachment style. So I understand that sometimes people say don't stress me out when there's like real valid things that need to be discussed. That's not what's happening with Huda and Jeremiah. And I can see her stressing him out. Like, I can see it happening. The first time is when the new bombshell, Sierra, comes into the villa and she pulls Jeremiah for a chat, and Huda starts walking by. She's like walking up and down there where they are, and she's like, hey babe, like she's making her presence known. Like, that's gonna stress someone out. The purpose of being here on this show is not for us to marry the first person that we meet. If that was the purpose of the show, it would have been Married at First Sight. The purpose of us being here on the show is for us to get to know other people and explore a bunch of different connections. Huda's not letting him do that, and she's getting mad at him every time he tries. And she's not exploring any other connections. And you can see it grating on him more and more because he's like, as much as I want to win this money, this bitch is annoying. Like, no offense. And like I said, Huda's calling people all types of bitches and hoes. So let me not like, no, I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So, another prime example of Huda, in my opinion, stressing Jeremiah out unnecessarily. This is like in one of the newer episodes. She's like, all the guys are like setting up dates for the girls, whatever. And she like pulls him aside and she's like, why don't you ever do anything cute? She doesn't even pull him aside. It's like they're at the fire pit, I think. She's like, well, why don't you ever do anything cute for me? And he's like, what? And then she's like trying to have this conversation. It's an inappropriate venue. And then later on, she's like, well, Taylor did a dancing thing with Alandria, and Austin did a yoga and meditation date with Shelly. Like, why aren't you planning anything cute for me? All the other guys are doing cute things for their girls. And he looks at her and he's like, are you dead ass right now? Now, me just saying that, yeah, it's gonna sound like she's genuinely just like lacking the affection that she's looking for in this relationship. But I need you to understand, every day she's telling this man how well he treats her. She's like, I just love how much you care about me and how nice you are to me, and I really feel so cared for. And like, she's literally affirming to him constantly that he's doing an amazing job. And so I can see him being like, well, if there's room for improvement, why didn't you say this to me sooner? This situation is triggering for me because I literally been in this situation. He's like constantly she's constantly affirming how well he's doing. So he's like, well, why didn't you say, like, literally, why didn't you say this before? Like, I'm genuinely confused. Why did you not say this to me earlier? Why are you picking this public venue, first of all? And then second of all, like, I think there's a way to communicate to a partner, mind you, like I said, week one of the fucking show. But so they're not partners, but whatever. I think there's a way to communicate to a partner that you have a need that is not being met. I don't think placing blame is the way to do that and being like, well, everybody else is doing this and you're not. Like I said, as a Taurus, I'm going to get defensive real fucking quick. I'm going to be like, are you criticizing me? Why the fuck are you criticizing? And then all of a sudden and I'm not saying I'm correct, but I'm just saying, like, then all of a sudden in my mind, it's about being criticized and not about the fact that I'm with someone who's trying to express a need. And I say this because I've been trained in conflict resolution and how to like approach conflict with people. When I'm having a need that is not being met by someone who I love or care about, I always lead with, I love you, I care about you. I lead with what's good, what's working. And then I say, I feel like I am not me like explaining kindergarten fucking I feel tactics to Huda. I say, like, I feel like this thing is missing right now. I would like more of it. Can we please try and do that? Instead of being like, you don't do this and you are not doing this and everyone else is succeeding and you are failing in this very specific way. I'm not going to do that because of course that's going to shut a person down. And like I said, I've had my Virgo ex come to me and be like, well, you're not doing this. I just want you to do this thing for me. Like, you're not showing up for me in this way. And then exactly what happened with Huda and Jeremiah happens, where I do it and they're like,
it just didn't turn out the way that I thought it would. Like, it just wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be.
like I don't have anything to say to that at that point. Like, there's no like, thank you, I appreciate your effort, this is maybe what we could have done differently before. Like, no, just wasn't. I have a very like growth mindset with everything, and I've been in relationships with people who genuinely, like, no shade to some of them, but like, they're miserable and they don't like see how things can improve, and they also don't think about how they can speak to people in a way that is like kind and empathetic and not like cruel and mean. And so the whole situation between Huda and Jeremiah is just very triggering for me. Especially he has a Taurus stellium. Like, he has all these fucking Taurus placements in his chart. I know she is stressing him out bad. And I know he's been looking for an excuse to leave this relationship basically since it started. So like, she told him that she had a kid and she was like, I'm going to tell one of your friends on the your like closest friend on the beach about it, because I know you probably need someone to talk to about it and it's like a lot to process and you've been dealing with it on your own. So she goes and tells his best friend. And I guarantee you he expected that man to say, why the fuck are you dating someone with a kid? Like, do you seriously think that you're ready for that? Do you think this is a good idea? Say something negative. This man was like, I think it's great. I love kids. I was a sperm donor myself. Like, I know he was gooped when Nick came back to him and was like, yeah, that's great. You just have like all these things that you have to consider. Like, would bet money that he was hoping that Nick would be like, yeah, I don't know if I see it for y'all anymore. And instead he got a very positive response and he was like, fuck, I gotta come up with a different excuse. Cause like, every little thing that Huda does now, he's blowing it out of proportion and being like, this is a sign that we shouldn't be together. And I know Tauruses, because I am one, and I know how we will like find excuses, like make little things big to be like, this is proof that you hate me. And it's like, well, no, technically it's not. Like, if you look at the situation in context, like, that's not really what's happening right now. But I need something because I cannot keep dealing with this motherfucker the way that I have been. Of the like filler, not really filler, but they're not on the beach anymore, so I don't want to like go too deep into them and talk about them as much as some of the other people, so I'm going to get some of them out of the way. I'm going to start with Yulissa got sent home day one because she was showing feet in the racial chat. She was saying the n-word on podcasts, and then she got on Beyonce's internet and tried to say, well, that word has origins in Spanish and Portuguese, and we just have to recognize, mama, shut the fuck up. It actually, like, her saying that that word has origins in Spanish and Portuguese pissed me off so bad that I had to block her. Like, I was like, I'm not somebody who cyberbullies people. I'm tempted to cyberbully someone right now. And instead of doing that, let me just block her. Yulissa is a white Cuban from Miami, okay? Trump supporter from what people have been able to tell. And the thing that got her kicked off wasn't her being a Trump supporter, which honestly I think is fair. Like, I don't think people should be kicked off of TV shows because of their political beliefs, because that's going to be a slippery slope into where America already is. So really, never mind. But like, the thing that got her kicked off the show was that she was on a podcast talking about n-word this, n-word that, whatever. This is a white woman, as you can see. Honestly, her being this tone deaf, for her being a white Cuban, that's not surprising. For her having the chart that she has, she was born a couple days after me. So for her having the chart that she has, it is a little surprising to me, just because I generally find, like, another show that I've watched recently is The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And there's a girl on there, Miranda, who has basically the same chart as me. And she's like one of the most empathetic and like kind and understanding girls on the show. Like, it could all be an act, but she seems really like down to earth and genuine. And Miranda was born 4 days before me. So like, generally speaking, around like early April, like mid to late April 1998, when I meet people who were born around then, I'm like, oh yeah, you're cool. Like, there's something that I can relate to you with. This bitch, she is a Taurus sun, and this time I mean bitch derogatory. She is a Taurus sun, Gemini moon, Aries Mercury, Pisces Venus, Taurus Mars. Why am I looking like she doesn't have the same chart as me? Except maybe the moon sign is my saving grace, like that combination of Taurus sun and Taurus moon. Because I always meet other people who have like similar placements to me, and if it's one similar placement, I don't really fuck with them. Like, but if it's like multiple similar placements, then I'm like, oh, okay, I can kind of like really see who you are and like what you're giving. Like I'll meet other Pisces moons and be like, oh, this is an evil motherfucker. Or I'll meet other like Taurus Mars and be like, wow, I hate you. But like if it's multiple things overlapping, it's usually not. We usually can vibe on some things, right? Really, like quite literally the only thing that's different between her chart and mine is that she has a Gemini moon, which, no offense, one of my best friends has a Gemini moon, but that does not bode well for you and your people. Okay, because you have a moon in a sign that is ruled by Mercury, and you're out here well, actually, okay, so this is getting kind of into the minutia of astrology. um but like different signs are ruled by planet, and so, and then like your sign will be influenced by that planet's energy based off of that rule. So like she has a Gemini moon. Her moon was in the sign of Gemini when she was, because she has a Gemini moon, her communication style is very foundational to who she is as a person, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the planet. I hope you're following. And the moon sign is like, it's your emotions. Let's just say that, to be as simple with it as we possibly can be. So her communication is very, if we look at where her Mercury is in her chart, she has Mercury in Aries. So Mercury in Aries is a very impulsive type of sign, popping off at the mouth. I get on here every week and I say something, and then 2 months later, I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that. Like, we speak before we think a lot of the time. So that could be a reason why like her words got her caught up and got her fucked up, because she spoke without thinking, or she spoke carelessly, or she spoke in a way that was harmful, and because she did that, it got her fucked up. Like I bet she really thought this was about to be her big break. Like she was, I'm getting out of my hammy, I'm getting my influencer bag on, and now the only people who are going to follow her are racist and Trump supporters, because she didn't even apologize. Like she just was like, cancel culture is bad. Canceling people for things that they say is bad. I shouldn't have said that, but like, girl, fuck you. If you don't like astrology, this is the moment for you. This is an instance where astrology fails me, because I can't understand a person with this chart. Like, if I looked at this chart without meeting the person, I would be like, oh, cool, because I love Gemini placements. I'd be like, oh, this is a cool person. I'd be interested to get to know them. But again, nature versus nurture. White Cuban from Miami, Trump supporter. Of course, she's unempathetic. Of course, she's online saying racial slurs. Of course, she doesn't know how to take accountability. Like, the soup that she was boiled in is bad. So, of course, she's going to end up being fucking weird. That's all I'm going to say about her. She was barely on the show. Like she coupled up with Ace the first episode, and then she got kicked off. She got like out in the night. So I'm not going to give her any more of my energy. I'm sitting kind of far away from this mirror, so I can't fully see myself and what I'm doing. So I'm sorry if you've been watching me do this makeup and you've been like, girl, because I really fucked with her. I thought she was funny. But people who just like aren't on the show anymore, basically, we have Beldasha, and I will be calling her Beldasha throughout the entirety of this video, because I think she's fucking, I think the fact that her name is Bella spelled like that is like funny. I saw somebody say online that her name is actually Isabella Ann, and she like shortened it to Beldasha. um which again is just funny to me. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like I just think that that's funny that somebody would do that. So Beldasha is a Leo sun, Aries moon, Leo Mercury, Virgo Venus, and Leo Mars. That I think is why I fuck with her more than I fuck with Huda, because Leo Mars can be like a tricky placement to deal with. They're very slippery people, I think I would say. Bella is also a Leo sun, and again, like Aries moon is hard for me to deal with. Like Aries moons in my experience are so immature that it's kind of like difficult for me to have a conversation with them. It literally feels like talking to a baby. Like I'm always, I'm like, did I walk into a kindergarten? Have you regressed 15 years? Like, this is a 27-year-old that I'm speaking to right now, and they're acting like they're 2. What's going on? But again, I fucking love Leos. Like, I just do. I love Leos, and I love that Beldasha is a Leo. And then she also has a Virgo Venus, and my best friend is a Leo Sun, Leo Mercury, Virgo Venus. And like she's just like she is the moment. Like, I just think she's so funny. I was really sad when she got sent home. So Beldasha was in a love triangle, which again makes me really sad because her being a Leo, like, not being someone's first choice and like obvious first choice, like, she was crying about it. I know that that was actually very traumatic for her, because Leos love to be the center of attention. They love to be the main character. They are the main character. They are ruled by the sun, so they are like literally the sun. So I know she was like mentally struggling probably a lot during those first weeks of the show. And I think she probably has some like insecurities with herself that she has not completely worked through, because there's a moment, so like she's in a love triangle with this guy named Nick and a bombshell who comes in named Sierra. And there's a moment where Nick is like, I'm 50-50 on you both. And she gets so excited and she's like celebrating. And it's like, girl, don't celebrate over 50-50. That's kind of sad. Like, how have you been broken down in your life? The other thing about Beldasha is that she comes on and she's like, I'm Christian. Like, I will not be having sex with anyone. Like, I have strong boundaries. And I think that's also part of why the thing with her and Nick kind of fell apart, because they were initially coupled up and then he ended up picking Sierra over her. I think part of the reason why their connection falls apart is because she is celibate and Christian. But I just think she's funny. Like, people say, and I also think she's so fucking sexy. Like, I can't lie. People online said that she had a black scent, and I was like, what black scent? And I realized it's because every time she was on screen, I wasn't listening to anything that she was saying. I was literally just like, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Like, I don't know what it is. She's so pretty to me. I think if she just kind of like really works on grounding into herself and finding a sense of self-worth that is intrinsic rather than extrinsic, because like a lot of the times Leos spend their entire lives being validated by people outside of them, and then it becomes like a feedback loop almost, where like they need the outside validation in order to like be able to build themselves up and continue to do the things that they want to do. So like I think if she really is able to like find that validation source inside of herself, then she's golden. She could go so many places. I'll follow her as long as she's not caught on Candid Cam saying that word every other word. Okay, so those are two people who were like not really in the house anymore. And they came in with the first batch of couples. So the next person we're going to talk about, and this is why I say there's always an exception to a rule, because this girl is a Virgo and I fucking love her. I live for her. I want better for her, and I want her to want better for herself. But I feel that way about every Virgo. So this is Shelly. Shelly is Haitian American. She's also from Florida, like Yulissa. But I knew she was real when Yulissa said she was from Miami, and she didn't immediately go, "Oh my God, I'm from Miami too," because she knew. She was like, "Oh, I know what you, Yulissa. I know what you are." So Shelly is a Virgo Sun, Gemini Moon, Virgo Mercury, Libra Venus, and Scorpio Mars. Now the Scorpio Mars, I'm a little spooked. It's a little spooky to me because my other Virgo ex had a Scorpio Mars, and that was not a good placement for us because I have Scorpio is my first house, so like yeah, they of course they made me feel like I was worthless. Like yeah, that synastry placement is like not good. But her other stuff that she has going on, I really fuck with. So this is also an example of why you can't really take astrology placements like one-offs, like piecemeal. You can't say like, oh, just Virgo Sun, everything is horrible, right? Or just Gemini Moon. Like Yulissa has a Gemini Moon, and Yulissa sucks because the way that her Gemini Moon is working with the rest of her placements, Taurus Sun, Aries Mercury, Taurus Mars, Pisces Venus, it makes her shit. Meanwhile, Shelly has a Gemini Moon, and at least based off of what we've seen from her on the show, she's a very sweet and thoughtful person. And part of that is because she has that Virgo Sun, Virgo Mercury, Libra Venus. Those are like placements that really give somebody a grounding and let them like think about what they're doing, what they're saying, and how they're showing up, as opposed to Yulissa with, for example, the Aries Mercury. She's just gonna say whatever. So like your placements really interact to make you the complete version of who you are as a person. I think, and I've said this to one of my friends, like I think part of the reason that I can really fuck with Shelly and I don't really fuck with Huda is because Huda is all Virgo, which to me that's a sign of the Antichrist. Keep that away from me. I don't want anything to do with that. That's because of my own personal experiences and trauma, right? Whereas Shelly, she has two Virgo placements in her personal planets, but she also has that Gemini moon and Libra Venus to kind of like tamp the things down. Virgos, in my experience, are know-it-alls, and they do often know some things. They never know it all, though. In my experience, there's never a justified positionality that they put themselves in. And the other issue that I have with Virgos is that Virgo and Gemini are both ruled by Mercury. Like I said, the planet of communication, right? And being ruled by Mercury, their mind is really important to both of those signs. For a Virgo, for example, their mind is their ego. Their mind is everything. If they think something, if they feel something, if they have an opinion, if somebody contradicts it or questions it or tells them that they're wrong or that they shouldn't think that or they shouldn't feel that way, they feel like their sense of self is being attacked. Like they are not worth shit because somebody told them that they were wrong or that something that they said is demonstrably false. And they tend to double down on that opinion and like grind their heels in and like refuse to receive any feedback and get really upset that that person had the audacity to contradict them because like I said their mind can often be like their ego, and if you contradict them it's like their sense of safety is on the line. Meanwhile, in my experience, Geminis are a lot more open with their like mental exploration. There's a thing about Geminis being indecisive and like never knowing what they want. And part of that is because they're like thinking, they're looking at every option. They can see all sides to everything. And people often say that Geminis are fake. I don't think it's that they're fake. I think it's that they're just like not very present people. For them, their thoughts and their opinions are not parts of their ego in the same way that Virgos are. So you can tell a Gemini they're wrong, and they might be like, no, I'm not in the moment, but then they'll think about it and 15 minutes later they'll be like, nah, yeah, you're right, I am wrong. They'll change their mind all the time because they understand that thinking through things and making new decisions is a part of life and it's a part of an existence. And they don't have to like, I think it's the like Mercury plus Earth, which is Virgo, versus Mercury plus Air, which is Gemini. Mercury plus Earth leads to someone who wants to plant a soapbox everywhere that they go. They might change their mind, but they're going to put their soapbox down and stand up on it and be like, this is my new opinion and this is right where I am. And I'm just going to stay here. Meanwhile, with a Gemini, they're flowing through the different ideas, which means they often don't land anywhere, or they land somewhere and they're okay with it changing or it moving, but like they're a lot more flexible mentally. I say all that to say, I think I enjoy Shelly as a Virgo on this show because she brings a lot of that flexibility of thinking and of feeling and of opinion that I feel like Huda lacks. Like Huda is like, I chose Jeremiah. Jeremiah is my one. I'm going to stick beside him forever, no matter what. And if anybody tries to threaten that, then they are the enemy. And I'm not interested in hearing any other opinions about it. Now, she could meet someone who comes into the villa and is like also a single dad, and they have a lot in common, and she's really attracted to them, and they have great chat. And she could decide, oh, I want that person instead, actually, but like she's going to do the exact same thing with that person that she's been doing with Jeremiah. Whereas Shelly has been open to exploring since she came in. She did come in with someone who she knew. Like there's a guy who she had like met out at in New York City before named Ace. And she came in knowing him and being interested in exploring a connection with him, but then she coupled up with somebody else and she's still like willing to explore both of them. She hasn't like planted her seed, or not planted her seed, that's not the idiom, she hasn't planted her flag in either of their soil because she understands that this is we're supposed to be flexible with this process, right? So that's really why I like Shelly. She's also like so super down to earth. She's very like thoughtful with the other people. You can really see her like thinking before she speaks. Like she's not going to just say something that could potentially hurt somebody's feelings. And she's gorgeous. She's literally so beautiful. Like she's like a doll. Like looking at her is like, oh, this is why God made faces. Like she's beautiful and I love to look at her. I'm so glad she's on this season. The one issue that I have is that I want better for her. Because the two guys that she's kind of between now, they both suck in their own personal ways. And I want somebody to come on the beach who is really able to turn her head and just make her go, oh, like this is what I've been waiting for. Like this is the person that I've been needing. So the next person we are going to talk about is the guy who Shelly came in having a bit of a connection with, Ace. He had me in the first half because I fuck with Leos. But as the show has been moving on, he's been getting weirder and weirder, and we're going to talk about it. So he is a Leo Sun, Leo Moon, Virgo Mercury, Libra Venus, and Leo Mars. Him and Shelly actually have quite similar charts. I think the only thing that is different is the moon sign, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, the only thing that's so she has a Gemini moon and he has a Leo moon. And it shows. No shade to Leo moons. Like, love y'all down, but this man, especially in the package of a man. Okay, so he comes into the villa with a connection with Shelly already. The girls got to pick the first like round of matches, and Yulissa had picked Ace before Shelly could pick him. So Shelly ends up with a Trump supporter. Austin, yay. Hate to see a black woman with a Trump supporter, especially if she, as Shelly probably doesn't know that he's a Trump supporter. He's coupled up with Yulissa, whatever. Yulissa gets yoinked, okay? So they're doing the recoupling, right? A new bombshell has entered the villa. Her name is Amaya. Everybody's like getting to know Amaya, but Austin kind of has a connection with Amaya. Instead of picking Shelly, as everybody except me, because I understand how Leo men behave, as everybody expected him to pick Shelly, he goes with Amaya instead. And then immediately is acting a fucking ass to Amaya. The reason that I liked him and thought he was funny at the beginning of the show is because he doesn't really give, like, he never gave serious vibes. I never thought that he was like a serious contender for Shelly's attention or that she should or would take him seriously. So I was just like, oh, he's here for fun and games. Like, he's here to be the audience surrogate, basically. Because one thing about Ace, he hates Jeremiah. Nobody can figure out why. I think the reason why is because Jeremiah looks like Ace if you stretched Ace out. Like Ace is a short king and heavy scare quote. They're both light skinned. They both have pretty faces. The only difference is that Jeremiah is tall and Ace is short. And so Jeremiah has a level of sexual access that Ace does not have. And you can tell that it bothers him. The other reason I think is because Ace from the beginning was interested in Huda, but Huda immediately attached herself to Jeremiah. And I think part of the reason that Ace was interested in Huda is because Huda is a pick me and very much like my man, ass girl. He's so complicated because he pisses me off. From the beginning, he's like razzing Jeremiah. He's like asking Jeremiah all these questions about his connection, and he's like, oh, is this like really serious for you? He's always like making jokes at Jeremiah's expense. And it's clear that like there's something about Jeremiah that irks him. And he also is like the one who was gonna ask the like little shit started questions that really like make the reality TV show good. Where he started to go wrong for me personally was when Amaya arrived. Because as I said, instead of doing what would have made sense, which is coupling up with Shelly, he decided to couple up with Amaya. Now, I knew he wasn't going to couple up with Shelly because him coupling up with Amaya serves two purposes, which are essential to the Leo man. It humbles Shelly because Shelly's going to be like, well, why the fuck didn't he couple up with me? And it allows him to begin testing Amaya. So, Leo men test people and play games with people that they're not serious with. Like, they could become serious about you if you pass the test, but the likelihood is if you feel like a Leo man is playing you or is playing with your time and your energy, he is, because he's not serious. And if you think a Leo man is serious, it's because he is. And he's seeing this progress further. I think he's like a deeply insecure man. And like I said about Leos when I was talking about Beldasha, like Leos tend to get, especially if they're unhealed, they tend to get a lot of validation externally, and they have to like do work to find that validation internally. And part of the way that Leo men get their external validation is by fucking with women's psyche. I haven't seen Leo women do that in the same way. Like, I have not experienced them fucking with people's psyches in general just for fun. But if you have, let me know in the comments down below. But that really has not been my experience of Leo women. But Leo men in particular, they fuck with people's psyches because they feel inadequate in some way, and they think if they can farm that inadequacy out to another person, then, and it does work for them, they are able to get their external validation that way by farming that inadequacy out. So by humbling Shelly, Ace is automatically going to have power over her. He's automatically going to have the upper hand in this scenario, because she's going to be like, well, finally, after all this time, he finally picked me. Like, I don't understand what took so long. Like, and she's spending all this time that he's not picking her, at least in his head, spending all this time that he's not picking her, thinking, well, what am I doing wrong? Like, I thought we already had a connection coming in. Like, why won't he just pick me? Like, why won't he partner up with me? What's going on? And that keeps him on her mind. And with Amaya, it also like has the added benefit of fucking with Austin, who again is another man who's taller than. And with Amaya, what it does is that he can now put her on notice. So, and that's exactly what he does immediately. He picks her and then he says, just so you know, I'm not a lovey-dovey type of person. I don't like physical touch. Like, I'm a slow burner. It's going to take me a while to get used to you and to like want to cuddle up with you, and like I don't like all this stuff. There's automatically, like, as soon as they couple up, there are all these fucking rules. And she looks him dead in his face and she's like, it's giving player vibes. Like, I thought I was going to be so excited that I was about to be so excited that we were coupling up, and I was so excited to talk to you about, like, because she too was, I think, probably confused that he picked her, because she had stronger connections with other people and he had stronger connections with other people. So like, let's talk about what you like about me, like why you chose me over everybody else. But he says to her almost immediately, don't get too excited about being picked, okay? Because I need you to know that I'm the one who's in charge here. I'm the prize here. So she starts crying and she like runs away, and ironically runs into the arms of Huda, when Huda, like days before, had just been talking about how much she doesn't like her and she just thinks there's something dark sided about her, because she kissed Jeremiah during a challenge. Like, the thing, you're supposed to kiss people during challenges. That's how the challenges work. Um but yeah, so she goes to Huda and Huda like comforts her. But from this moment on, every conversation that Amaya has with Ace is very adversarial, because he's trying to have the upper hand and have the control in the situation, and also knock her down a peg and like put her on her level, and she's not having it. She's like, you're not gonna do that. Like, I don't know what the fuck game you think you're playing with me, but you're not gonna fucking do that with me. So now I'm just gonna bake while I talk about Ace and Amaya. So he is automatically thrown off, because the plan was for her to pass. If she passed the test, basically, she would have been like, oh yes, Poppy, whatever you say, like, I don't care. I won't touch you. I won't call you any pet names. I won't cuddle up with you in the bed. Like, I don't care about any of that. Let's burn as slowly as you want to. And then he would know that he has his little pick me in the basket, like Jeremiah has with Huda, and he's free to go roam, do what Jeremiah is failing to do, which is roam around and look for other connections. She didn't end up doing that. He got immediately annoyed. And the subsequent conversations that they have are him going, are you going to comply with the program, or are you going to continue to try and assert your own sense of self-worth and self-value? She's like, no, I'm not going to comply with the fucking program. Fuck you. So from basically their coupling, you start to see the cracks in who Ace is and why he sucks, basically. And I think the thing is that he's just like very insecure. He's coming across as very insecure, even as he uses the therapy speak and he tries to like establish boundaries with Amaya. We've been watching the show. There are cameras here. Like, we know what's been going on. Everything that he's telling Amaya is a fucking lie. He is actually, he's not like touchy feely with everyone, but like he does do physical intimacy. He hugs the girls, he kisses the girls on the cheeks. Like, he's not that slow of a burner. Especially because Iris comes into the house and as soon as she shows up, he's making her breakfast the next morning. So what do you mean slow burn? You know what I mean? So he's lying in her face and she clocks it immediately, and he's lying in her face because he wants to be able to control her, which is the sign of a man who is very insecure with himself. If you are secure in yourself, you're able to have an equal relationship, an equal partnership, and that other person can make whatever decisions they want to make. You can make whatever decisions you want to make, and there's not going to be a problem. But this idea, like, boundaries are not about other people. They're not about what other people do. They're about you and how you feel. So his boundary being, you can't call me pet names. Well, I understand that pet names make you uncomfortable, but you can't control the way that somebody behaves. You can communicate to them, that makes me uncomfortable. I would prefer you not do that. And then they can do whatever they want to do. But the added layer with that is that Amaya, pet names are the word babe is just in her vernacular. She called everybody babe all the time. So him saying to her, you calling me babe makes me really uncomfortable, and it makes me feel like we're moving at a speed that we're not there yet. We're not at babe level yet. Well, she's calling all the other girls babe. So it's clear that babe to her does not mean what you think that it means. And I think your boundaries should be able to accommodate the people who you are existing in relationship with. But it's not a boundary that he really has. It's bullshit. He's lying because he wants to control her. The things that we know about Ace: he's insecure, he lies, he seems to have an inferiority complex, and he has control issues. And we know that even with him doing all this therapy speak, with him pretending to be super balanced and super like well attuned, with him like acting like he's so mature, like, we've been able to pick up all of this, which is the thing that I think a Leo can often miss, is that they're spending all this time performing, that they don't understand that like a layer of performance is the subtext of the performance. What is happening under the surface? What are your facial expressions giving? What do the words that you're saying literally mean? And then what do they mean in this context that gives them another layer of meaning? And I think sometimes Leos can get very caught up in the surface of the performance, how it looks. Am I conveying the words in the way that people expect me to be conveying them? Am I speaking in a way that is giving people the impression I want it to be giving them? They're not thinking about like the nonverbal cues that they're giving and the way that the things that they are saying can come off in a way that isn't necessarily the way that they intended them to. So I think that's all I'm really going to say about Ace, because I'm going to talk about him more in my other video, but he's one who really disappointed me because I wanted to like him and I wanted to enjoy him. So next up we have the Trumper. I'm not going to spend too much time on him because he pisses me off and I'm mad that he's still on screen, and I'm mad that he's coupled up with Shelly, and I'm mad that he's still coupled up with Shelly, and he has been this whole time, even though it's clear that he's been looking around waiting for someone who's white to want to be with him. And a white girl came on the beach and immediately said, I don't know, she said, I don't want any of what you're not picking up anything that you're putting down. I'm not interested. So Austin is a Capricorn Sun, Aquarius or Pisces Moon, Capricorn Mercury, Aquarius Venus, and Libra Mars. I can't say that like with Yulissa I had any positive preconceived notions about Austin based off of his sign. I think that Capricorns can be quite slippery. It's difficult for me to really feel like I can understand them or like what they're saying or how they're feeling, because they're very like secretive. And they understand the thing that Leos often don't understand, which is that subtext very often is text. So they understand that like the words that they're saying mean one thing, but the way that they're coming off means a completely different thing. So I think that's a thing that's clear about Austin. The thing that I find so frustrating about him, especially as someone who is we know is more than likely a Trump supporter. We don't know if he voted, but if he did, the likelihood is that he voted for Trump based mainly off of his reposts on TikTok. Like, there's a lot of weird and vile stuff in there. But the thing that I find so frustrating about him is that it's clear that he thinks. Like, he's not stupid. And I think he could be like ground zero for understanding Trump supporters, because like he is actually like pretty level headed. He oftentimes has the most reasonable opinion of anybody in the room. And like, this is not a bunch of dummies, you know? Like, you might assume that a show about people on a beach, like in bikinis all the time, dating is just a bunch of dummies. But like, I don't get the sense that these people are unintelligent. Like, they seem like they know what's going on in their minds and in the world. So I don't get the sense that Austin is unintelligent either. Like, he doesn't have himbo vibes. He's just like, I mean, to be a himbo, you have to be attractive to me, but so that's already not going to apply. His One thing I will say about Austin is that he has thin. Okay, that's something that Katya from Drag Race would always say about herself before she got lip filler, and that's what I say about Austin. Them lips are thin and villainous. Okay, I have never said the fact that Shelly has to kiss them. Ooh, I could work myself up and piss myself off real bad thinking about the fact that that is who Shelly is paired up with. Um, but he's difficult because he's clearly not stupid. He's clearly thinking, but he's still at the end of the day has all of these opinions that I find to be not only abhorrent but also anti-American, and also like they're just bad. Like, I don't like any of his opinions. I think all of his opinions are bad. I'm gonna lean on the side if he has an Aquarius moon, because in my experience, people with Pisces moons are very empathetic and think about other people before they think about themselves. But at the same time, he has a Capricorn sun, and Capricorn sun really kind of like mitigates that. That's not to say that Capricorns are like mean or anything. It's just that like they'll throw you under the bus if it gets them closer to where they want to be in life. I mean, sure, that's a way of living, but I don't know if that's the way that I want to live personally. But we're not talking about me personally. But yeah, so I would err on the side if he has a Aquarius moon as opposed to a Pisces moon. He could have a Pisces moon, but Aquarius Venus is exactly the type of person he's described himself as. It's a slow burner, someone who really likes to get to know someone that they're before they like establish a full relationship with them. And they're also like not sexually inert. So it's like he's clearly a very sexual person, and he talks about like he's a pool cleaner or whatever, so he talks about like sleeping with people on the job. But like an Aquarius Venus isn't going to lock someone down until they feel like that person is like really worthy of being locked down. And it can often frustrate people that they're dating because they're like, well, why won't you pick me? Like, why won't you just like make a decision and decide to be with me? And it's like, well, because it's not right. Like, you're sexy, you're cute, but like this is not giving my partner. That's all I really have to say about Austin. He's a conundrum to me personally. I couldn't do readings for Trump supporters because it would piss me off too bad. Okay, so Maya is a girl who I was talking about earlier who was coupled up with Ace, and it was strife from the moment they got coupled up. Amaya is a Scorpio sun, Sagittarius or Capricorn moon, Scorpio Mercury, Libra Venus, and Capricorn Mars. Based solely off of this, you would think that like her and Ace would kind of be able to get along, especially if she has a Sag moon. And I think she has a Sag moon because she's just like so fun and silly, and I really fuck with her. Like, she's so fucking real. At first when she came on the beach, I was like, I don't really know what's going on here, but her clocking Ace immediately, that's the Scorpio sun in her. And it was also because like after her situation with Ace, like after he was trying to like after he was trying to neg her and she like didn't fall for it, she then went to Shelly and was like, it seems like there's something going on with you and Ace, like you're with Austin, if there's something weird happening, I don't want to be a part of that, like just be upfront. Like, she kind of kirked off on Shelly, and Shelly was like, wasn't letting Shelly speak. So we learned very quickly that she's a crash out. Like, she's gonna crash out, but she's also just kind of like funny, and like she got it together really quick. Shelly was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening, like I'm not plotting something with him. And she immediately was like, yeah, I shouldn't have gone off like that, I'm really sorry, and like apologized, and they hugged it out. So I think she has like a good heart and good intentions. I think she just is like kind of nervous and very passionate. It's so cliche to say that a Latina is passionate, but like she really does have that like she gives a fuck about how people talk to her and how she's treated. She does not take disrespect, and I really appreciate that about her. Like, I really appreciate that she is willing to be like, don't fucking talk to me like that. She clocked Ace every conversation that they had. Every conversation they had, he was trying to control her. He was trying to like police her reactions and what she was going to say, and she basically was like, no, we're not doing that. So what the fuck is this about? And it ended up that they were enemies, even though they both have Libra Venuses, even though, oh well, their Mars are incompatible, and so are their Mercuries and their Suns. Well, so yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense that they don't really gel because their all of their planets are either square or in conjunct, which basically just means that like they don't go well together. She's not on the beach every day crying about the fact that like things haven't been working out with Ace. She's not even like desperately going after other people's guys. Like Charlie kind of crashes out and decides that he's gonna try and talk to Amaya, and Amaya was like, me and Hannah are friends. Like, why are you doing this? Basically, this is giving kind of desperate. Again, clocked him immediately. And so she's just like having fun and kind of like waiting for her person to pop up on the beach. I really hope that she's like Liv from last season, where they just kind of like let her stay and hang out for the rest of the summer, even though she doesn't really have a solid connection with anyone. Because her commentary is so funny and she's just like so fun to watch. And the last episode, like I said, no spoilers, but the last episode, somebody gets sent home and the Islanders have to vote on who gets sent home. And the way she's crying, you would think it was the Hunger Games. Like, you would think somebody just got fucking raped. Like, she's sobbing. And it's like, Mama, it's okay. They're not going to take them in the back. But yeah, that is Amaya. I really fuck with her. I think she's like so sweet, and she's a lash out first, think later type of person, which not everybody will fuck with, but I was raised on Love and Hip Hop, so I do. Okay, there actually wasn't one for Nick, so I'm literally just looking it up right now, which would mean that he's a Pisces Sun, Aquarius Moon, could be a Capricorn Moon, Pisces Mercury, Aries Venus, and Mars in Sagittarius. So Nick is like actually he's a whore. I can't beat around the bush. I just have to be 100% honest. Like, he's a whore. Um, he gives very ran through vibes. He gives very like, this is not his first rodeo dating multiple women or seeing multiple women in one day. Um, and he is the one who initially pairs up with Beldasha and then ends up switching to Sierra when Sierra comes in as a bombshell. And we're going to talk about Sierra next. Pisces, Sun, Aquarius, or Capricorn Moon. He has like very, and Pisces Mercury, he has like very level-headed energy. He seems like he seems like he's just there for a good time and to be on TV, honestly. And he doesn't give like very serious, like, I'm looking for the love of my life vibes the way that Huda does. And I honestly kind of fuck with him because I think he's like very level headed. Like, his responses to a lot of the stuff that happen in the villa, he's seems very reasonable about them. He has an energy of kind of like an underground himbo. Like, he pretends like he's dumber than he is so that people will leave him alone, but actually he's fairly intelligent. Um and he seems like he really like gives a fuck about the boys that he's friends with on the show, and like making sure that they're actually like really happy and like in really good relationships. He's the one who Huda tells that she's a mom so that he can like talk to Jeremiah, because Jeremiah is his bestie. And his reaction is so positive. He's like, I actually have a kid. Like, I was a sperm donor. So one of my like things that made me nervous was like people knowing that I have a kid out there somewhere. Um, so he's like, I really commend you for coming on this show and like putting yourself at risk to like find love. And then he goes and talks to Jeremiah and he gives it to him straight. He's like, look, she's a kid, so like this is not all fun and games. You have to make sure that you're actually really prepared to be able to deal with that. Like I don't think it's a deal breaker personally, but you have to make sure that you don't think it's a deal breaker. So there's something about him that I just think is kind of like fun and sweet. And there's an online crack ship of him and my fave who we'll talk about at the end, and we'll talk a little bit more about like why I may or may not support that crack ship when we get to her. But Nick is partnered up with Sierra, and Sierra is a Libra Sun, Libra Moon, Scorpio Mercury, Virgo Venus, Sagittarius Mars. So their signs are fairly incompatible, except they both have Sag Mars, and they might have compatible moons if he has an Aquarius moon. She's got a Virgo Venus and he has an Aries Venus. Yeah, the thing about Nick and Sierra is that they don't give like strong couple vibes to me. Like him and Beldasha didn't really give strong couple vibes to me. It really kind of just gave like he's been playing it safe and he's been going with like what's familiar for him, less so like what's probably like the best choice for a relationship. And like I said, that's because he gives it he's there for a good time. Like he doesn't really seem serious about being in a relationship with anybody. And really, honestly, like neither does Sierra. Like Sierra, literally, she's an influencer and she's a Libra. Like she really gives, like, she's just here for exposure, but also, like, if she gets to, like, meet someone and kiss them and sleep with them, like, that'll be a positive perk of the situation. Her being a Libra sun, Libra moon, she has exactly the energy that she gives off, which is that she's really like kind of down to earth. But there's something, and this is like genuinely no shade, there's something dark about her. And I think the thing that's dark about her is that Virgo Venus. Venus is in detriment when it's in Virgo. It's so like it's exalted and it loves to be in Pisces. It expresses itself very well in Pisces. But in Virgo, which is the opposite sign of Pisces, it's in detriment. And it's in detriment because Virgo is the opposite sign of Pisces. And it's the opposite of where it loves to be. And Venus can kind of struggle to express itself in Virgo. Virgo is very like planned, and Virgo loves to save and to think about the future. And Venus is super like no muss, no fuss. Venus loves to spend money. Okay, so I fucked up my eyeliner, but like I'm not redoing it because I don't feel like it. As usual, one eye looks way better than the other, but So we're gonna ignore that when we do the final look. But yeah, Sierra just has like very unserious vibes. The one thing that I will say about Libras is that they can have kind of this like other side of them. Like they seem very passive and very like peaceful. Oh, I was talking about Venus and Virgo. Oh yeah, so I think part of the darkness in her is that is coming out is this like debilitated Venus where she works in an industry that's literally about beauty and she is an incredibly beautiful girl, but there's something in them eyes that is like what's going on here? And it's probably like she's probably struggled to have like solid romantic relationships. She's probably struggled to have romantic relationships that feel fulfilling in the way that she wants them to feel fulfilling. Probably doesn't have like a large circle of people who she like really trusts and really fucks with, but there's a lot of people who like would call her a friend. So just like in general relationships with this placement, like any kind of relationship, friendship, family, friends, can be difficult because Venus is struggling in this position. But yeah, that's Sierra. We're gonna round it out with the last two. One of my least favorites and my like actual fave. So we have Taylor. Taylor is a Gemini Sun, Libra Moon, Gemini Mercury, Aries Venus, and Sagittarius Mars. How do I put this in a way that is like delicate and gentle? Um, so to like explain the difference between a Gemini man and a Gemini woman, because I love Gemini women. Gemini men can get wrecked. And I say that as someone who was raised by like my dad is a Gemini man. Like I don't want anything to do with it. Angelina Jolie is a Gemini woman. Donald Trump is a Gemini man. Like there's something so dark sided lopsided about Gemini men. Like, genuinely, I don't know what it is. And especially them in relationships. Like, I'm like, can you be serious? Like, do you know that you can just date someone that you like? Like, so the issue that I have with Taylor really is that he's not attracted to the girl that he's coupled up with, and the girl that he's coupled up with is literally the hottest girl in the villa. Like, in there's no, in my opinion, like, everybody loves her, everybody wants to fuck with her. Body tea, face tea, like, absolutely fucking gorgeous. And the reason he's not attracted to her is because she's dark skinned. And now, if you're looking at him and going, what do you mean he doesn't like her because she's dark skinned? He's black. Let me tell you about this little thing called colorism. So, like, enough. Like, Taylor's funny because he is a noodle. Like, basically, he's like if one of those noodles that like waves outside of a car shop made a wish to become a human being. Like, he is so wiggly and so like unserious, genuinely. He's literally a cowboy. He's studying to be a veterinarian and like work on horse medicine, which I think is actually really cool. But my main issue with him is that he's not attracted to Alandria, which begs the question, who are you attracted to then? Because it's not that you're not attracted to attractive people. It's that you don't think people that look like her can be attractive. Oh, okay. So she's like pulling teeth, like trying to get him to say that she's pretty, that he's interested in her, that he's having a good time with her. And he does not tighten up until a guy comes in the villa who's literally doing that and does not have to be begged, like off rip. Then all of a sudden he wants to kiss her and touch her and plan dates with her and spend time with her and like communicate with her and all of this stuff. And she's getting the shit end of the stick because I could give a fuck less if Taylor stays. Like, genuinely, him being partnered up with Alandria and not immediately going, thank the Lord that this has happened. I'm the luckiest man on the planet. Let me get my act together because I cannot have this woman leaving me. Like, that to me was the first red flag. And then him, like, every time she tried to talk to him, he's looking at his feet. Like, he's not engaged with the conversation. He's never smiling. He smiled more trying to stop Hannah from crashing out about Charlie being pulled by one of the bombshells for a chat than he smiled ever talking to Alandria. And part of it is because he's a Gemini man. That Libra moon will get you fucked up all the time. And so will that Aries Venus, because an Aries Venus will not lock in and pay attention until they realize that the person that they're until there's like some element of competition, something to be played with, something to be lost, something at stake. Like, an Aries Venus, they are the epitome of like an enemies to lovers trope. They love to be in relationships with people who they can like fight with and make fun of and like riz and razz, and who you're like, do y'all even like each other? And it's like, yeah, they're in love, but they're just one of them is just an Aries Venus, or they might both be Aries Venuses. Off rip, he's not getting that with Alandria. And then you couple in the fact that he's not attracted to her, likely because she's dark skinned. It's like, get this man off. I don't want to see this shit anymore. I wish him the best in the real world, finding the white and or light skinned woman who tickles his ivories, but like, stay away from her. Get a job. Okay, the last person that we were talking about is like, I love Alandria. This is my favorite person on the cast. I love a Gemini. Like, Geminis are my emotional support human beings. They're so fun. They're so funny. The thing about all air signs really is you can't take them too seriously because they just be talking. They just be saying anything. And Alandria being a mutable air sign, so mutable, I don't have time to explain it. Look it up if you're confused. Mutable astrological signs. But like, her being a mutable air sign, she's manipulative, but she's manipulative in like a way that I can really fuck with. So I'm not going to say like if you've had a negative experience about with a Gemini that you're wrong and that you should get over it. But I will say, for all the people who get on the internet and slander Geminis and Scorpios, I think it's because the propaganda, the pro Virgo pack is winning. The pro Virgo side is winning. Okay. The propaganda in favor of Virgos is fierce and it needs to be stopped. She has a Gemini sun a Cancer or Leo moon, Taurus Mercury, Aries or Taurus Venus, and Gemini Mars. We don't really know like what her moon sign is or what her Venus sign is. I can use her and Taylor as an example of why I fuck with Gemini women versus Gemini men. So Taylor, I think they have pretty similar placements, except they have opposite Mars signs. So she is a Gemini Mars and he is a Sagittarius Mars. Alandria is like very thoughtful. Like they're both really good friends to the people who they are in the villa with, but Alandria is very like thoughtful. She's thoughtful with Taylor too. Like it's clear that she's not attracted to him, you know, or she's not overly attracted to him. She's like, I could get there with time and with effort, but he's just not putting in any effort. And she's giving him chances because, I mean, she's better than me. Because if it was me, you could watch my ass as I bounce to the next dick boy. Like, really, I would be sowing my mighty seeds. I would have tried to start something up with Charlie just to see what we could get popping over there. But she's really sticking by him because he's the guy he's the guy who picked her first. And he's the guy who she picked and decided to be with. So she's trying to like give this a chance and see where it can go. So I think I see like a kindness in her and a care in her that I don't think I necessarily see with Taylor. Like he, I think, is waiting for someone who he's attracted to, who is also interested in him to come in. Meanwhile, Olandria is really like there with him, but she's like open to other. She's open, whereas he, I think, is like, can someone else come in here quickly so that I don't have to be talking to this dark skinned girl anymore? And the way that she communicates is very like thoughtful. Like I think the reason that I say she's manipulative is because there's moments where she'll like let something slip or she'll say something and it's like, girl, you knew that you were letting that slip. But it's really because she like wants the girls to know. She's like looking out for them in a way that I think is just makes her like a really good friend. Like there's a moment, so right before Beldasha gets evicted. I don't know what the word is on the show. Right before she gets, yeah, evicted, I guess I could say. She, while Sierra is coupled up with Nick, Beldasha makes out with Nick in soul ties. And then Nick immediately gets up and goes to the photo booth on set. And Sierra's in there and he makes out with Sierra. And so Sierra, the day after, after Beldasha gets evicted, Alandria's in the room. Mind you, all the girls are in the room. It's clear, at least to me, maybe Sierra was hiding behind a plant or something, but it's clear that Sierra's in there. And Alandria's like, yeah, I'm just surprised that Nick ended up sending Beldasha home because they were in soul ties yesterday, tonguing each other down. I mean, they were kissing. And Sierra's right there and she's like, wait, what? And Olivia's like, she knew she was there. I think she literally just wanted her to like know, but she didn't want to be messy and be like, oh, this is what happened. So she let it slip. One of the big viral moments of the show early on is that they're at the recoupling and the men get to choose like if they want to partner up with Sierra. Sierra is the bombshell who's just come in. And all the guys stand up except Jeremiah. And Huda's like, oh my God, y'all just a bunch of grown ass babies. I got me a real man. Like, how are you not like I don't like this. She's pointing at like Shelly and Alandria. She's like, I don't like this. I don't like this. And then Alandria's like, that's enough. And she's like, what? And she's like, I understand you're trying to be supportive, but like, it's okay. We'll have a conversation later. Me and you will have a conversation later, but it's okay. And she smiled at her, and then they kept it pushing. Huda and everyone else online tried to make it seem like Alandria was just like she was so out of line and she was such a bitch and she made her feel terrible and she made her cry and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, all I saw was a girl trying to be as kind as possible in a stressful situation that was already a little bit embarrassing. Like she really just was like, it's okay. Like you don't have, I understand, but you don't have to do that. Like, and tried to, and also it was embarrassing for Huda because it was like, you're trying to my man this. Meanwhile, that man could leave you too. Like you don't know him. You just met him 2 days ago. Why are you big upping him at the expense of the other girls on the beach? But yeah, it was embarrassing for her and for the girls who she was trying to big up. And so I think Alandria was right to say that. And she tried to say it in the nicest way she possibly could. Huda still cried. And she, being better than me, because I would have let the bitch cry, she went up to Huda after and apologized to her and was like, I'm so sorry. I'll try and be better for next time. I really was just trying to like be nice to you. I think Alandria is very aware of the cameras and aware that she's on camera, but not in a way that comes off as like fake or calculated, in a way that really just seems like she is just like trying to put her best foot forward while she's on this reality TV show. You let me know what you think of this makeup look and of the astrology of Love Island season 7 in the comments down below. Like I said, Alandria is my MVP. I love her. I love her combination of signs. I love how she shows up on the show, and I'm really excited. She's just recoupled with one of the bombshells who came in. I didn't read his chart because genuinely, I don't really know how long it's going to last, because I am an Alandria ex Nick truther. Like they both have Aries Venus, or she might have a Taurus Venus. I think it could be sexy for Alandria and Nick to get together. I don't know. God forbid I wish a Pisces on a Gemini, especially a white Belgian man on a black woman. Look up King Leopold II if you don't know why I'm saying that. But I gotta fuck with it. I don't know. I know it's a crack ship. I know it's crazy, but I gotta fuck with it. Yeah, but that's all I'm going to say. This is my Love Island bombshell entrance look. If ever, I mean, probably somebody else would be doing my makeup for my entrance look, but like if I was ever casted as a bombshell on Love Island, which I don't think I would be, because let me not like self-deprecate on Maine, but like I don't know if I'm giving that. But if I was, this is the makeup that I would do to entice them in. Oh, let me shift my bosom. I would make sure these things were sitting so that I could get the boys away from their girls. But yeah, if you have any thoughts on this season of Love Island or the astrology of the main cast, please let me know in the description down below. What's your sign? I'm so sorry if I went too in on your sign and I was too mean to people with your astrological placements. I know that sounds sarcastic, but I really do actually mean that. Like, I'm not a person who like literally actually lives by astrology. I just think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I know probably a lot of the stuff that I said in this video could apply to anyone. Technically, doesn't really matter, but I just like, I like to have a little kiki. So, and also I just want to say, like, I know this is an edited reality show, so I'm basing all of my opinions off of what we see on camera. I'm sure the people that are on the show are 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional human beings in real life. And like a lot of the things that are annoying about them on camera would probably be less prominent if I knew them as who they are as people. So I just wanted to say those two things. Just to say, like, I understand the pressures of being reality TV, and I don't want anybody to be too mean in the comments about anyone in particular, especially Huda. Because I know Huda is the easiest person to be mean about in the comments. But like, if your opinion differed about any of the people on the show, or if you've never watched the show and based off of my descriptions or any of the pictures I put up, you would really like to or would not like to get to know any of the cast members on the show, let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna stop yapping because I have a whole nother video to film and I also need to eat dinner. So that's me. But yes, again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. I can see again, and all I see is sexy.